Hey, welcome. If you've ever felt that deep, gut-wrenching pain of a broken heart, you already know it's one of the toughest things we go through. Today, we're going to walk through a spiritual guide to healing, really looking at what it means to feel broken, and more importantly, how we can be put back together again. So let's get into it.
This quote right here, this is going to be our anchor for everything we talk about today. You may feel broken, but Allah specializes in healing broken hearts. It's just such a powerful idea, right? It gives you this incredible sense of hope, suggesting that even when you're at your lowest, there's an expert, a specialist, who is ready to mend what's been fractured. This really sets the stage for everything.
So, first things first, let's talk about what it actually means to feel broken. We use that phrase all the time, but understanding the real depth of that feeling, that's the very first step toward healing. And what's so interesting about this definition is that it goes way beyond just being sad. This is about a feeling of total internal collapse. It's when your emotional stability just vanishes. Your whole sense of who you are gets shaken up, and something or someone you completely depended on is just gone. It literally feels like your foundation has cracked. And this feeling, it shows up in some really common ways. You might find yourself stuck in a loop, just replaying memories over and over. Or maybe you've lost all motivation. You just don't have the energy for things you used to love. A big one is questioning your self-worth. And all of this leads to this profound emotional exhaustion. It's a core symptom. Okay, this right here, this is a huge shift in how we think about this. Feeling broken does not mean you are permanently damaged. It just means that something deeply, deeply meaningful to you has been hurt. And that distinction is everything. It changes the problem from I am broken to I am hurting. And you can heal from hurting. All right, so let's build on that. Why does it hurt so much? I mean, why is the pain so incredibly intense it can almost feel physical? Well, it all comes down to our fundamental need for attachment. Let's just pause on that for a second. Why do we as human beings have the capacity to feel this level of emotional pain? Sometimes it can feel like a design flaw, right? To be able to suffer so much from a loss. And here's the answer. It's because we are wired for connection. We are designed for attachment. So when we lose someone or something we're attached to, it's not just an emotional loss. It feels existential. We're not just losing a person, we're losing a piece of the future we had built in our minds. It feels like we're losing a part of ourselves. Okay, so we've established how deep the pain goes and where it comes from. Now, let's pivot to the solution. If our human attachments are the source of the wound, where can we find a healing that goes beyond what other people can offer? Let's go back to that word from our opening quote, specializes. This isn't just a casual word. It implies a true master at work. It means three things. 1, consistency. He's done this again and again. 2, expertise. He knows exactly how to do it perfectly. And 3, reliability. You can absolutely count on it every single time. And this idea connects directly to one of the names of Allah in Islam, Al-Shafi, which means the healer. And we're not just talking about healing a cut or a broken bone. This is about healing all wounds. The physical, sure, but also the deep emotional and spiritual wounds that heartbreak leaves behind. You know, this comparison really makes it clear. Your friends and family, they can comfort you, which is amazing. And time, well, it can distract you. But divine healing, that operates on a completely different level. It's not about covering up the pain. It's about actually removing the pain from your heart and replacing it with peace. And maybe most powerfully of all, it can give meaning to something that felt completely meaningless. So, how does this healing actually happen? It's really important to know that this isn't like flipping a switch. It's not an instant fix. It's a process, a quiet, gradual journey with some pretty clear stages. So let's walk through this little roadmap. First, you have to acknowledge it. Just be honest with yourself and say, I am hurting. Then, it's about turning to Allah, reconnecting with the ultimate source of stability when everything else feels shaky. The third step is emotional release. You have to let it out. Cry, write, talk, don't suppress it. After that comes this beautiful quiet part, the gradual internal shift, where the pain just starts to lose its sharp edge. And finally, transformation. You don't just go back to who you were before. You actually evolve. Now, this brings us to a really tough question, right? If there's a divine healer, why does this pain even happen in the first place? Let's explore this idea of reframing the experience itself. Seriously, why?
Why does Allah allow heartbreak? This is often the question that sits right at the center of all our suffering. It can test our faith, it can make us question everything, but digging into this question, that can be the key to unlocking an even deeper level of healing.
So what if the pain isn't just pain? What if it has a purpose we just can't see yet? Maybe it's a way to help us detach from something that was unhealthy for us. Or perhaps it's a redirection, clearing a path for something so much better. A lot of the time, it's a spiritual awakening. Pain can bring us closer to God in a way that comfort never could. And of course, it builds incredible inner growth and resilience. And that's really the bottom line for this section. The experience, as awful as it feels, isn't pointless. It is purposeful. And just believing that, even if you can't see the purpose yet, can completely change your story from one of loss to one of growth. So, finally, let's talk about the destination. What does being healed actually look and feel like? Because it's often not what we imagine it to be. This slide is so important because we have so many misconceptions about healing. We think it means forgetting what happened, but really it's about remembering without breaking down. We think it means we have to stop feeling anything, become numb. No, it's about feeling at peace with the outcome. And the biggest one, we think it's about getting back to the person we used to be. The reality? It's about growing beyond the pain into someone new. And here it is in the simplest terms. The wound might leave a mark, a scar that reminds you of a battle you fought and won, but it no longer controls you. It doesn't dictate your thoughts, your day, or your future. You're back in the driver's seat. So let's bring it all home with this one last reframe. You are not destroyed, you are being reshaped. You are not abandoned, you are being guided. And you are not stuck, you are simply in transition. And we'll end on this beautiful thought. The fact that your heart can feel so deeply broken is actually proof that it's capable of being deeply healed. Because the one who created that heart knows every single part of it and specializes in making it whole again.